Welcome everybody. Good afternoon from Italy. It's 4 p.m. local time here. Very good afternoon, and thank you for joining Axel Technologies DJ Pro webinar. Just a little introduction about myself. I'm Claudio Astorri. You can call me Claude. Some friends call me Clay, but Claudio is my name. Claudio Astorri. I'm the radio specialist at Axel Technology. I'm the guy who recommends developments, who works with the engineers, who helps a little bit Axel Technology to increase its good radio reputation and radio programming development. So Claudio Astorri is talking. I'm the radio specialist. Thank you again for joining. I would like to know something more about you participants, you guys on the other end. So if you want, you can use the chat on YouTube and just write who you are, where are you from, your questions, okay? Your questions are definitely welcome, and I welcome all the questions you might have. A few things about Axel Technology I would like to tell you while starting this webinar, as I really don't know if you know or don't know Axel Technology, and I think there is some info that you might find interesting and valuable. We are seeing now the Axel Technology website. This is a company based in Bologna, Italy, in the north part of Italy. It's a company where approximately 50 people work daily to develop radio and TV software and hardware products for the world. So it's not really an Italian company. I would say it's a global company. 50 people working from Bologna for stations everywhere in the world. You should consider, for example, that DJ Pro that we will see today is a product that is running in approximately 1,500 different stations around the world in dozens and dozens of different states and countries around the world. Axel Technology is a company that has, again, in radio, both software and hardware products. You can find them very easily here on the website. So just for your knowledge, I am keeping the DJ Pro page open here, but we will see also, of course, the software. But you can, of course, use our website to know better and more things about our software, our hardware, both for radio and TV. The company is happy to listen, is happy to understand the needs of the clients, is a company of huge travelers. We have Giuseppe Vaccari, the founder, Enrico Vaccari, Stefano Grego, who is helping me today, who is the channel director, who travel the world a lot, both for convention, but also for visits. And so we have good friends, distributors around the world. Welcome to the webinar of Axel Technology, and welcome from Claudio Astorri, the radio specialist here. Happy to talk to you and to tell you about DJ Pro. We're talking about DJ Pro being the on-air system, okay? The on-air system, and what better look to have on a on-air system if not starting from the interface, from the on-air interface. By the way, we are in manual. Let's go automatic and see something moving. I would like also to tell you, for your knowledge, that DJ Pro is part of the suite, is part of a suite, of a radio software suite. And again, you can see this quite easily on our website. And I recommend you that you check the radio automation area here, the group, and you will see DJ Pro, which is the on-air system. VJ Pro is the visual radio. We will see something about the VJ Pro later. Digiware radio, Ramcom radio, and Social Hub. Digiware Radio is the music scheduling software. Ramcom Radio is the traffic scheduling software. So DJ Pro is is the heart, I would say, of a larger suite. And this is something very much appreciated by even owners and station managers, because they know they can rely not just on a specific software, but on a suite that is available and scalable, and that can be used for many purposes, as we will see in a radio station. The suite again is composed by DJ Pro, and particularly I would like to mention and show you quickly the two other software that are probably the key software for professional improve and for better services, both on the air and for the clients. And again, they are Digiware, that is the music scheduling software. We just see the playlist creation. And we have on the other end also Ramcom, which is a powerful tool. It's one of the most complete traffic software. You can set so many parameters, you can set so many functions here. You can have really, thanking to uh, Ramcom, a complete control of the company. What does this mean? It doesn't mean that our good DJ Pro does not act well on the side of the of the programming, or on the side, for example, of the marketing and sales department. But certainly, you can have DJ Pro. But you can have an enhanced DJ Pro. You can have a rich DJ Pro if you also use the other two software, Digiware for music scheduling and Ramcom for traffic scheduling. Suite integration is a strong part of our environment, but there is another key issue, in my opinion, that I would like to express to you about DJ Pro that is very much appreciated. There is an excellent management of the splits. This is something that managers look with great attention. Why? Because, of course, splitting areas in many countries where this is allowed is a way of establishing the business of radio in several areas, in several different areas, so that you have simultaneous disclosures of the networks, and you have the possibility on the same time in the same cluster to have different advertising played, of course, in each area. The capability of DJ Pro, and one, I think, of the reasons why it has been so popular and so requested, is that the split operation is also including the content capabilities. So you can separate your network and have DJ Pro broadcasting in several and different areas, both the advertising and the content part, the programming. So, for example, you can have newscasts on specific areas, or any other sports transmission, or whatever for your format is appropriate for the specific area. And DJ Pro is really an excellent tool to do that. One other thing I would like to remind you before processing is that you can make questions. I have the company, even if you don't see him, of Stefano Grego. He is the channel manager at Axel Technologies. He is responsible of so many relationships with distributors around the world, and he's helping me to collect questions that may come from you, particularly from that YouTube chat. There is a bell icon upper right, is suggesting me Stefano. So please feel free to make questions. One other thing, as we have international guests today, is very important at the start of the presentation to tell you that we have a nice international integration. So we have approximately a dozen of international languages. And so please feel free to ask if your language is served and, of course, talked into the software, if the software talks your language. Okay. One other thing that is preliminary, but not less important, is that DJ Pro can be designed for really several ways of installations. I mean, you can have a single player DJ Pro running for a web station or a radio station, and you can also at the same time have a DJ Pro in a particularly crowded network for multi-operation, multi-station use. Uh, we have a lot of good, talented engineers at Axel Technology. Please feel free to ask for your right configuration of networks and of whatever can help you with defining the technical network where DJ Pro in your software, your Axel Technology software may run. One other particular aspect that is much appreciated by the management of our clients, the DJ Pro, is the chance of really building full control of the access levels. I think this is an important thing that should not be forgotten. As radio station is a wonderful environment, I like a lot to participate into radio stations live, because a lot of things happens, particularly very strange things happens in radio, and this is one of the nice and creativity part of the business. But of course, there are some times where you have to close certain areas, you have to define certain functions, and so having a full control of access levels of a software is so delicate software and an Onair system. Well, I think it's a very good thing. And Axel Technology has a high reputation in full control of access levels. One thing I would like to show you that is also a key and relevant part of the software is the capability of working outside the radio station. This is something that managers like. I think also, of course, radio operators, but manager like this the most. Let me show you this feature, this screen. This is an external part of DJ Pro, okay? It's a sort of client, but a small client. But a very precious feature is live remote. And this is the answer to an increasing demand of remote events. We see in many countries, events are the second source of revenue for radio stations, even before the digital. And organizing remotes from events, from pubs even, or from clubs, or from sport events, which is quite common. Well, it's a good key, and live remote is really interesting because the audio connection is allowed, but mainly you have commands from the this command from live remote directly to the DJ Pro sitting in your radio station. So live remote is really a fantastic tool, a light tool that allows you to have a perfect remotes. So building remotes without losing control, without losing quality, the quality that you have within the radio station. Excellent thing that, of course, managers like a lot. Among the other things that managers like, before going more into technical and into programming, is that DJ Pro is very effective in terms of reports. There are a lot of reports. Reports. Of course, you need to look reports when you need. You don't need probably DJ Pro's reports every day, but there is plenty of them. And of course, whenever something happens in the radio station, like a spot is not played at the expected time or is skipped, you have, of course, proof documented by DJ Pro about what happened. So you have full control of what happened, and manager like this feature very much, but I think nobody should be scared by this. It's just a rational way to take note of whatever is happening. Let us go a little bit more into engineering. By the way, I have a question. I don't know if we have the name of who asked this, but the question is DJ Pro able to support a master to slave architecture? Yes, but on the architecture side, I would highly recommend to who is listening and watching us to talk directly, and this is one of the points, to our technical department. We have a strong support, a very strong support, English-speaking support in Bologna, and we have also a very good engineer, Roberto Palmarini. I'm mentioning him with pleasure, who is really a star in planning and in defining networks configurations for the interest, of course, of the radio station. What I would like to say that is very important, so to build a strong architecture, and of course we offer very happily this form of consultancy, or this form of dialogue that Roberto Palmarini and others, of course, in the company are good in maintaining. But at the same time, it's very important that you maintain the network as programmed, and you have maintenance on that. We find that sometimes the original networks sort of have decreasing results because more and more workstations are connected, or because even office workstations are then connected in the same network. So we know that network culture, I would say, is important. That's why we offer network culture. And again, please feel free to contact our support. You can ask about the guys or Roberto himself, or you can even access this kind of consultancy thanking to our sales department. There is a strong, of course, collaboration between the sales department and the technical department. And whenever you have a need and you talk to one of the guys of the sales department, you can have replies, you can have answers. By the way, as I mentioned, the sales department, and trying also to present to you the company and who we are, we have a sales manager, the sales manager, who is Mr. Enrico Vaccari. Stefano Grego, which I already mentioned, is the channel director. Then we have Ilaria and Simona, that are two additional sales managers that cover different areas in the world, and then have, of course, all the relations with distributors and also with clients, both in radio and TV. So feel free to contact them, and feel free also to make questions that they can certainly answer, maybe asking for help directly to the technical department if they cannot answer directly, but certainly you will receive a feedback. We have also an Italian sales manager for the country of Italy. If you are in Italy following an English webinar here, feel free to contact Cristiano at Axel Technology. You find all the references and numbers or emails on our website. Well, let me talk a little bit about the reputation that the DJ Pro has, and then I will get to another question. Thank you. The reputation of DJ Pro is the one of a very strong software, very solid software. This is probably, I say probably, because of also the typical redundancy that is, of course, part of DJ Pro. It's, I would call this, or it should be called, redundancy management. It means that the system for the security, which is, as a broadcaster, it's the most important thing. If we have not security, which means stability, we are out of the business. We are dead. Okay, we don't want to be dead. We want to be active and live as radio is, and so stability is a key concern. And we have redundancy management, which means essentially instant auto change. So in the configuration, we can help you to define the fact that if anything goes wrong or anything goes broken, you can immediately, and you don't even notice that, a change that allows you to make use of different hardware instantaneously. This is very important, and what you can ask to the 1,500 installations of DJ Pro in the world, you can ask them the reason why they keep using DJ Pro. One of the main reasons is stability, is solid as a rock. I heard this from many clients that are happy clients around the world. But again, behind this success, there is a strong technology, there is a strong concern, and there is a strong service for a radio station. Again, we have other key issues that I would like to cover briefly. Once then we will see something, of course, more deeply within the software. One important thing is that we don't pressure you too much for specific hardware. This is another important key. We suggest hardware. We have, of course, some recommendations that we can recommend. And we have also a lot of hardware interfaces. We connect DJ Pro with virtually everything. Not really with a wash machine, but we are within a radio station. We really have connected DJ Pro with anything, and I think that this comes from the hardware culture that we have within Axel Technology, because we are also producers of hardware. And for example, there is a very interesting feature that is the RDS interface, the radio data system interface that is within DJ Pro. And the system takes directly the information from the song info, for example, that you will see in a few time, and it spreads this information on the network, and it comes then to the audience with the radio data system and info. We can also select sound cards, so we suggest hardware that you should buy, that you should choose. You can buy hardware from us if you want. You can buy hardware yourself, and then, of course, we have to deal about this, understanding the right processes to approach the installation, and our software and support department are fine with that. But we are flexible with hardware, and we are flexible also with sound cards. We work with any soundboard, I would say. It depends on the quality that, of course, you will recommend. One common question is also the one regarding the audio files. What does DJ Pro play? And as we use a lot of hardware, as we use virtually any board, or we recommend, of course, the best, but we can be connected to a lot of systems. We recommend also that you can use all audio files you want. I have just a recommendation for the technical guys. The thing is that when loading spots on DJ Pro, you can, of course, have the best work of the system by, for example, decreasing the time or increasing the time by working on the files if the files have, of course, the same format. If you change audio format for the spots, you may have durations that are not perfectly as represented. So we recommend for the advertising issue that you should take in consideration the fact that for advertising, just for the spots, you use one format and you don't change that. But for the other files, DJ Pro plays anything. Jean-Luc Ligné, I'm sorry, my pronunciation is terrible in French. Sorry for that, but we all love France here, and we have a lot of relations here with, I don't know where you are, maybe France, maybe another country, but the last name seems French to me, or Canadian. What about streaming features? Yes, we have a streamer included. So within DJ Pro, you have the chance also of stream. So this is a feature that is connected. Partners generally use, this is Santiago Nunez, generally use the exact time tool in Digiware. But my question is it possible to have a fade out in the middle of the song, for example? Yes. The answer is yes. You can have what we call, and what is common, an exact time marker, and you can decide that there is no other way to delay the exact time marker. So this means that you can, of course, then have the song being faded out, even if it's in the middle or at the beginning or wherever it is on the play. This is, of course, is a very, I would say, dramatic issue. It means broadcasting a piece of a song and not a song to the listeners. But if you want to do so, if you need to do so because of synchronizing networks or whatever, yes, please feel free to do that. And yes, the exact timing can be triggered at a specific time. This can be done in the Digiware clocks in any time you want it. You can easily fix this. We know when music is classified. This is again Santiago. Thank you for asking. Fade out is established, but in the end of the songs. Yes, we have fade out mainly at the end of the song, this of course, but of course you can change the fade out when you are on the air. I can show you on the Onair system in a few seconds how this happens and how this is shown. Very, very nice to see, but this is of course a chance that you have within DJ Pro. So let us look a little bit about the main interface. When we think about the on-air system, we look and we think about this screen, which is essentially where songs are displayed, where events are displayed, and where services are there. So the look you see is quite simple, is quite effective. You see, this is the fade out. I was talking to you about two possible events. I don't know, and I hope you can see it from your screen, but on the bottom right, you can have both the previous and the following event, and you can control with many commands the fade in, the fade out. So you have a lot of features, a lot of control over the single fade of a single of two single events. By the way, the good thing about DJ Pro, the good stability of the system is that you can make this quite difficult issues on the air system, on air, and still the system you will see is very stable and does not have any decline on its performance or on its stability. So you can do whatever fading you want, you can save it and have still a very stable operation. One thing about technical issues that I would like to add is that we have a high flexibility also in databases. Microsoft SQL is supported. Other clients ask for other databases. Feel free to open, as I said before, to our technical department your needs, your ideas about the databases you would like to work with, and we will try to support you. Another key technical issue that can be, sorry, a great advantage for you is the fact that as we are great in interfacing, we interface DJ Pro with board consoles, with a lot of external events. One other key thing is that we can hear automatically, sorry, we can hear automatically check the satellite feed, for example, at a specific time, record it, and then play it. So the flexibility of Axel technology and DJ Pro particularly is very, very high. Also in XML import or export with charts. One other thing that would like to tell you about the on-air part is that you can set here your hotkeys. Hotkeys is a nice feature, very simple feature that helps programs in radio. We can have different, I would say, audio banks, if you want to call them like that, or if you want. And as you see, for example, you have here applause, you have here battle boards, you have here, in this case, you see a lot of sound effects, and they can be used very easily. And of course, they can be saved for use in certain times or in certain shows of the day. Sorry. So hotkeys is very powerful, but we can have other good features for people running the radio station behind the microphone, because the DJ Pro is a good friend also of people being hosts or disc jockeys. The original name is DJ Pro, of course, and this tells you that there is a great attention to the DJ, to the disc jockey. Naturally, DJ Pro has grown as a software, is more a Radio Pro software, but the name still means a lot of interest of the software to who is going on the air. Well, we have an interesting feature that is promoted also on our website. That is the presenter board. You already have seen the remote, live remote. This is another feature that is very much useful for on-air people. Well, this is a presenter board. Presenter board is a nice feature of DJ Pro, and it presents itself exactly like this. It's would say an HTML page, essentially an intelligent one, and the chance is to bring to the attention of the presenter information that normally is not available, for example, here or in other screens that are more, I would say, technical. In this case, you can have the chance with the presenter board within DJ Pro to project to the presenter information that is more close to the content and programming part of the business. So, for example, you can have, of course, buttons for the social networks of the radio station. You can have, in any case, the right info or for what's going on the air, because you don't need to lose control of the events on the air, of course, but this is all customizable. And of course, this can be looked whatever and would say wherever. Presenter board, so another nice feature included in DJ Pro to serve at best also on-air people, which are, of course, a good part of our clients and our supporters, I would say. Other features that affect who is on the air is the typical now feature of the voice tracking. We have quite a good reputation in voice tracking. It means that you can voice track quite easily on the system. There is some chance also of having automatic announcements. So this is having, on-air people automated. Frankly, it's not on-air people. It's a recorded message that allows you to, for example, announce the hour, or at a specific exact time marker. You can have, of course, DJ Pro telling what time is it to the audience. So I have Jean-Luc again with from Canada. Thank you for the answer. When integrated with your visual radio solution, who drives the automation? This is a question about VJ Pro, and I like now to answer to your question for a moment from DJ Pro and show you again in our radio automation folder on the website something about the VJ Pro here. I know that Gianluca Righi, thank you Gianluca for your assistance also. He has more information about VJ Pro. In our principle, Jean-Luc, radio drives television. So television, the visual takes the sync, takes the path, takes the event, the events directly from the radio station. This comes from a philosophy that we have, the philosophy that we have on VJ Pro that has then driven the technology experience is that radio is must not be affected in the way it works. So we don't want even people to change attitude when coming to the radio station and working on visual. Uh, we see that in several countries, like Italy, for example, we have visual having a huge amount of interest from people. We have in Italy, for example, 35 million daily listeners to radio, any station. Okay, this is a data. This is data about any station. But you have 5 million of visual radio users among these 35,000. So one of seven, which is not a small number, listen to radio via the visual. So it's an essential tool, very, very relevant. By the way, it's relevant for both young people, younger audiences that are keen on seeing, for example, music, not only listening to music. So video clips are appreciated. And on the other end, by medium-aged woman staying at home. This is another target of visual radio. You can definitely increase your audience. We have a wonderful interface for VJ Pro, very easy one. This, I think, is an idea of Gianluca Righi. And you see here there are widgets. There are a few widgets, and this is the control panel of VJ Pro. Very, very easy. You have inner graphics. You can compose graphics on the screen very easily. Of course, you can have an external editor if you want this. You have a switcher that allows you to automatically change, for example, cameras. This is another interesting solution, because if you have somebody speaking, this will take, of course, the attention of the camera and will be an automatic switch. And you can decide how to do this. You can have also PZ cameras, and they can move in a certain and coordinated way from one speaker to the other one. You can have, thanks to the switcher in Visual Pro, in VJ Pro, you can have a lot of management also of cameras. Why? Because you still need to be a radio and to act as a radio. So you need automation to assist you. You have integrated VJ Pro, you have integrated in some ways, but this is quite relevant. You can even, of course, move cameras, players, and whatever. And here you have also a beautiful VJ Pro installation. You see VJ Pro here. This is a VJ Pro technology. In this case, we have connected all to our console, the Oxygen 3000. But again, as by the traditional philosophy of Axel technology, we are capable of connecting this to each one. So this was just to answer to Jean-Luc. We have VJ Pro playing live. We have VJ Pro playing based on the DJ Pro programming, okay? And we have VJ Pro allowing you to, as you see from here, to add cameras, yes, to have probably a better studio, but you should not have, thanks to VJ Pro, more people involved or more costs involved. This is our promise, this is our effort, and VJ Pro is a wonderful solution while the television becomes the third medium that radio listeners prefer. After the car radio and after the ordinary radio set, then we have television before smartphones and before personal computers. So if you need more assistance on that, we will have a specific webinar on Axel Technologies, VJ Pro, and visual radio technology, which is very, very interesting. And believe me, very easy to be prepared and to be managed. Okay, back to DJ Pro now. Just wanted to show you one of the other features that is in inserting songs, just to let you know that you can, without Digiware, in any case, be in the chance of inserting information data that is valuable for programming. Because you don't want random music, probably. You want to have a schedule. You want to have a coherent schedule on your radio idea. And so in DJ Pro, even if we have not here the best scheduler, which is Digiware, that can be connected to DJ Pro, you see you have a lot of information that can be, of course, inserted. The BPM, the mood, energy, and type, these are all info that then have a great impact on the software. What is very common, very interesting about DJ Pro is the fact that you have exclusion. You have disabled months, disabled days, and disabled hours. This is quite common if you think about having a quick way not to broadcast a song in a specific time. So you see here from this screen, I don't want to share more time with you on that. It's very easy. It's very simple. You see this. It's easy to even decide not to program something in certain moments of the months, of the days, and of the hours. We have several modules in DJ Pro, and one of the interesting thing is that you can have. We have named this in Italian, but you can name in your language, of course. We have songs, you have audio, you have programming, you have advertising, you have news. One thing that not many know is that we have a news module within DJ Pro, which is nice, which allows you either to broadcast your news in certain ways, of course, and in certain times, particularly of the day. But you can even decide a news programming method, which is recording the separate single news and then compose the news in different ways in different bulletins. So you have a very flexible way either to record a full service or have a service being played taking the single news of the ones among the ones that you have recorded and allowed to be aired. So have a look, please, also on this model. What we can look again quite quickly here is again the on-air system, where you have advertising, where you have all the events coming next. Very easy. Get back to auto. You can very easily also skip events. It's immediate. You see, it's absolutely immediate. And you have also all the information of advertising, and you have also a full control here of all the components. Board, we have also information from the board. We have a recorder, quite useful to record events and to record single programs. I should tell you also that we have in recording a strong reputation also as a company for hardware proposals in the recording business. But here, what I like to add is that we have also the podcast chance, that is deciding from one point to the other where you want to record, and then a podcast is created and is then broadcasted streamed after the broadcast. This is an interesting feature because you can decide to skip the advertising that is in the program you want to podcast. By the way, I don't know if you want to call this podcast, because purists of podcasts do not think that radio is part of the podcast movement or the podcast offer, but call them podcasts, call them recordings, call them streamings, but DJ Pro does them all. And so this is an interesting feature that we should also underline. I don't see more questions. Just to remind you, you can place questions here, and you can, of course, use the YouTube chat in order to do that. Among the features of DJ Pro, we also have quick changes that I just show you. That is the chance of skipping events quite quickly. And there is a personal cartwheel that you saw with hotkeys, the background recorder that you saw. I would say to tell you again that you can also pre-listen every track, because we think that also board technicians like to work in the most professional way. You can, of course, pre-listen any track in order to have full control of the levels as soon as you open the console channel for that certain event. Once back to the website of Axel Technology, and one quick check also on the other features of the suite. So DJ Pro is the main part. VJ Pro, we saw this, and Digiware radio, Ramcom radio are the DJ Pro enhancer of music programming and of traffic programming. But we also have Social Hub. This is an interesting feature I would like to introduce to you, that can be part of the DJ Pro suite, and it's essentially the capability of which is much used also in our TV systems, of course, and it's the capability of bringing in information, messages, audio from the social networks and treat them quite quickly then for on air. This is quite it's hot. I mean, it's very interesting. Please read and look at the presentation if you want, and don't forget that this can be a nice feature for your full DJ Pro setup. We have then, you see, Soundtrack Studio is a little sister of DJ Pro, very little, that is just suited for web use. These software complete, as you see, the radio automation area of the software suite. We have another question coming from an Arabic participant. By the way, thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. How to export the songs list in order to use in RDS service? I'm afraid this is quite technical. I would like to need Gianluca or other of the support to specifically show you how to do that. But in any case, you can have the song list created for RDS use directly into DJ Pro, taking from the database info and interacting with the schedule, with the log, of course, on air. And this is a feature that, of course, is there within DJ Pro. So again, if you have other questions, feel free to ask. I would like to give you, as we are not far from the end in terms of time, just a few more information, if you allow me to do so, about Axel Technology. We have an excellent support team, as I told you. We are available. This support team is based on several people. Elisa, Gianluca, our clients and distributors know them very well. Roberto for the network issues. And they are excellent resources also during installations. What many radio stations around the world do is they purchase, they place an order, and they include in the order also installation. We definitely recommend this. We see that the learning curve and the efficiency is higher when you have an installation. We are available also for remote installations, and then they can be done not in all circumstances, but in some it is possible also to have remote support and remote installation for DJ Pro and the radio suite. Let us see if there are other questions or not. I don't think any other have come. If you want to just put a message and tell what your interests are, we can maybe look at other features, or we can look at other components of our system. I don't see any more questions. Okay. Okay, this was an overview of the features of DJ Pro, just to give you the idea of what we're talking about, what it does. I hope this was quite a complete coverage, at least of the functions for the different areas that you might have. And I think I showed them quite all the ones. Again, if you want a specific presentation, if you need, for example, a detailed or technical presentation for the software, we can organize this for you. So feel free to ask for a technical presentation if you want to see specific features, if you want to see maybe other specific issues. We can, of course, do them remotely one by one by you. There will be other webinars soon coming if you want to participate, and they will cover other specific products. They will be more technically devoted to this software. Of course, we will take care of Ramcom, which is the traffic scheduler, and I'm a fan of Ramcom, and it's a fantastic traffic scheduler. We can share time with your question and maybe schedule together directly with Ramcom, and of course also Digiware, which is the music scheduler, and maybe some of the music scheduler among you will like to participate. You can also have on the YouTube channel of Axel all the other references for the previous webinars we did, also, of course, on the TV side of our business, not only of radio. And of course, we will be informed about the next schedules and the next events so that you can decide to participate. I would like to thank you for participating. Look forward to hearing from you, to having your questions, and to having maybe also some information on what you're doing and what you need in your radio station or in your company. Thank you from Claudia Story. I would like to thank you all my partners here in Axel Technology, Gianluca, Stefano, who worked with me, and all the guys at the company. Thank you for that, and look forward to meeting you again in the near future in another webinar.